So I'm able to say this now. It's targeting right now, end of August, beginning of September, me versus Arman in a grappling match. I'm pretty confident after training with the best guys in his division. Like, he will not feel like them.
Your upcoming fight with Kevin.
Yeah, he's just another butt scooter, you know, those freaking butt scooters. Like, I can't stand them because butt scooters are a disgrace to our sport.
Do you guys feel like the UFC BJJ will be the premier league?
I think that
I won Gi Worlds and I was pretty much done competing. I was like, screw this. There's no money in this. I'm just going to go to law school. So I had a full scholarship to law school in Vegas. I was going to go. And then
Gordon, right? He's admitted that he does use. To me, if you need that to win, then I can't consider you the GOAT.
Yeah, so hey guys, this is Mikey Musumeci here, and this is our first episode of Overdogs BJJ podcast. I'm here with my co-host Hector Vasquez, and I'm super excited for this first episode. We're making history today. How you doing, Hector?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. I think this is going to be huge. We're going to learn some stuff. We're going to just shoot the shit and find out what the hell is going on in the BJJ world. So we're going to have the incredible William Tackett, one of the Tackett brothers. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about and ask you about your upcoming fight with Kevin. What are your thoughts? What have you seen in his game that you're going to be able to implement your game?
Yeah, he's just another butt scooter, you know, those freaking butt scooters. Like, I can't stand them. How I learned about Kevin was he had this match with Aljamain Sterling, and he won the match by butt scooting, and it was a disgrace, you know, because butt scooters are a disgrace to our sport. So I just plan on smashing him again, like another butt scooter to smash, just like Shay, right? Another butt scooter.
Right. That's awesome.
If you guys don't understand my sarcasm, I'm like one of the faces of butt scooting. I love Kevin; he's awesome. I love Shay too, but it's fun being on the other side of this, right? Because we all get shit on so much for butt scooting, but when I get to be the one, like, screw that, like, all my haters I get to be with. You know what I mean? It's really fun, like changing your perspective, like being on the opposite side.
Yeah. So, what is your ultimate goal in UFC BJJ? Obviously, you won the title. You're the reigning champ. What is your ultimate goal in BJJ, like overall, to demonstrate to people?
My ultimate goal is just to grow our sport as much as possible. You know, we have the biggest platform ever. I definitely get a lot of views for grappling. Every time I do a match in UFC BJJ, Hector, you know my numbers, but like I'll gain 100,000 followers every match, you know? So I feel like whatever we're doing is growing our sport, and more people are seeing jiu-jitsu. I get stopped frequently on the street now, you know, like it's been incredible. Like, so I'm just so blessed to be a part of this, but I just want to grow this sport where more and more people train jiu-jitsu. That's what I care about more. I love the jiu-jitsu community, but I want to bring more people to the jiu-jitsu community.
Yeah, and I've been with you when we went to that Italian restaurant where people are just random people, you know, they're like, oh, rigatoni.
So like, it's just amazing what's happening, but it's just such a big responsibility for me. I just want to keep getting more and more people to our sport, you know, and I'm just a different person to do that. There's so many people that could do that, but I feel like the segment of people I could bring is just so different than the regular group of jiu-jitsu people that are more like meatheads in the gym, like bros, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like a college school nerdy kid, right? And that's honestly growing so much as well. Like, there's so many jiu-jitsu clubs now, even in colleges, so it's growing like crazy, and I feel like I am helping that community grow a lot as well.
What's up?
What's up, William? Okay, so now we have William Tackett with us on our first episode. We're honored to have you on as our first episode ever. Like, this will go into the history books.
William, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. And again, we were talking on this topic of how you know this sport is continued to grow, and people are, you know, just regular people, you know, they're enjoying the art. And of course, we have competitors, but some of those people that start this, you know, they end up being a competitor at some point, whether they're in their 40s, their 30s, they're just going out there. So it's amazing what you guys are bringing to the table, being out there, you know, and putting your faces out there on UFC BJJ, which is incredible. So hats off to you guys. And what do you really think about how this sport is going?
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm a big
fan of both you guys. And I mean, Mikey hears it all the time, but been watching your jiu-jitsu for a long time, Hector, and you're a great coach, and honored to be here. But like honestly, like my thoughts on where the sport's going right now, I think it's like kind of the crux. I wouldn't say like the crux because I think we have a lot of ways to go, but I think we're definitely like at the peak that we've been at. I think that we have a long ways to go, and I think that UFC and even some of the other organizations still have a lot to give. But especially having UFC and with their hands in the sport, I think it's going to for sure help with kind of ramping it up the professionalism. Like I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but you know, incorporating drug testing and like exclusive contracts and all these things that we haven't had in the past, and I think are going to really help with helping the athletes just grow as much as they can and the best opportunities possible. So I'm super happy with what's going on right now in the sport. I think obviously there's some like learning curves and things that like, you know, we need to improve upon as like different organizations and stuff. But overall, I mean, you guys can testify to it. Like back in the day, we didn't have anything like this. Like when I first started jiu-jitsu, I had Naga in Dallas, and I had like Fight to Win that would come to Houston, and they would sometimes come to Dallas. And that was before they were doing the Fight to Win Pro. That was like the Tournament of Champions or like the Texas Open and stuff like that. And that was it. Like if I wanted to compete more than 2 times a year, I had to travel out of state, and it just made it way harder to compete. And that was all at the low level. So
Yeah.
we never had any of these big professional shows. Like Metamoris was like the first biggest show that kind of popped out, and it didn't last. You know, it kind of
It went bankrupt.
yeah, but for sure. But it at least like opened the door for like all these organizations to kind of inspire them and like you know, allowed them to kind of like take a step off of their back to achieve like, you know, even a bigger spotlight. UFC is doing a great job with that. So I'm stoked with what's happening right now.
That's something that I definitely want to hear about. Like something really interesting about you and your brother, that you were both deep into the no-gi community and gi community at the same time. So I feel like you guys are basically Switzerland. And Hector, something crazy about them is they're so good in the gi. Like I watched Andrew train in the gi. He literally could win black belt worlds in the gi. You know what I mean? So like they're big no gi people. They're gi people also, but then they're also no gi people. So they're like really like
I've seen them through the years as kids, even when Jalen and everyone and all you guys, like they've been there, you know. Like he said, they just didn't have that many tournaments in Houston or in Texas that they had that exposure. If they would have been around like constantly coming out here, I mean, it would have been insane. But no, I've been watching their careers for years, and man, I mean, the brothers have been killing it. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just growing.
And then
Thank you.
also with UFC BJJ, before you came on, William, I was telling Hector, like, what's so awesome about this is how many people we could get to start jiu-jitsu, you know? Like, we're very ambitious with winning titles and things, but something that gives me fulfillment is knowing that I'm helping people start training jiu-jitsu, you know, because I know that how much of an impact that could have on their lives. Them like it makes them drink less alcohol, doing partying, like all these different things. Jiu-jitsu creates like a healthier lifestyle, you know. So I feel like we have the ability with this platform to get more and more people to watch jiu-jitsu. And I feel like sometimes we'll get a lot of hate from the jiu-jitsu community, but we're also bringing people to that community, you know. So that makes me happy.
And to your point, I feel like it's helping the jiu-jitsu as a whole be even healthier, right? Like you mentioned that like jiu-jitsu can be healthy, like keeps you from drinking, you know, forces you to kind of eat correctly and things like that. But having like UFC with like things like drug testing and like the PT that they can help us with, the dietitians and all of that stuff, I feel like it's going to help even more, like kind of take a little bit of the toxicity that exists in jiu-jitsu, like either with the steroids and like maybe the bad weight cutting mentality, or like even like some of the, you know, old school super hard training that doesn't really like get you anywhere. Like I think that like these big platforms are helping kind of refine it even more. So now like this next generation of people that are starting jiu-jitsu by becoming fans or whatever from watching the scene, they're able to enter into a jiu-jitsu that's like much more refined than when we started like years ago. You know, like when we started years ago, no one knew like what was right, what was wrong. Like access to information was really low. We didn't have really many
Barbaric
instructors.
almost.
Like yeah, like I would watch like some Eduardo Telly's stuff because he had some stuff out in the day. Like I would watch a little like Marcelo's. I had like the books, like Eddie Bravo's book, Marcelo's book. I had the University of Jiu-Jitsu.
Hachimura, he was a
Yeah,
good one. You know, I
exactly.
had
Yeah,
that.
he was great.
I used to watch Hachimura with the fro
Oh
and
yeah,
Marcelo. You got this background with the things. It was
I
crazy
love
to see.
Milos
But
Ambry. The Nito Chambry one, the omoplata one.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that one was
that was
solid.
a good one.
There was some gems out there, but not as much as today. So it's sick to
Yeah.
see. Like to your
Guys,
point,
can
like
I
I
tell
feel
you a
like
secret? At that time, when I was like 11, I was a torrenter.
yeah, that's hilarious.
Can I get sued for that, or is it too many years that like the crime is already done? Like I'm fine now.
Yeah, yeah.
So William, what got you and your brother into jiu-jitsu? Like, what was it? What made you wanna put on the gi, or is it just something that you guys fell into?
Funny enough, it was UFC, and that's kind of why like I'm such like it was so easy for me to make the decision to switch over full time to UFC
Who's
BJJ
your favorite
because
UFC fighter?
I had a few. Like George St. Pierre was always one of my favorites. Anderson Silva was making a run when I was watching UFC as a
Oh
kid.
yeah.
Like he was always crushing it. There were so many big
Oh,
like
you're
names
so
that I was
young,
watching.
Hector. We
Yeah,
have to remember he's a baby. They're
He's a
turning
baby. He's a
25.
baby.
yeah. But I honestly like I liked a lot of the old school jiu-jitsu OGs. Like I
Yeah,
knew
Tito
Chris
and Chuck
Brennan.
that time.
You know Chris Brennan. Like I
Oh, the
used to
guillotine
compete.
guy. Didn't he do guillotines or something?
Guillotine Kimura armbar guy. Yeah, so he has like armbar finishes in Pride. I think he won by armbar in like UFC 14. Like so I would always watch like the jiu-jitsu guys in MMA a lot, but then I would still watch
Mhm.
like my favorite fighters were like the champs obviously that were like winning everything. But yeah, like Chris Brennan, we used to go train at his gym when we were kids. Sorry, not train, we would compete at his gym. They had like a in-house tournament that would be ran at his academy in Dallas. And funny enough, now he coaches at Syndicate, so I get to like take classes from him and train with like Lucas and
Ah,
Tyler on the same mats as them when I used to compete against them as kids. So it's like crazy, kind of a funny circle around. Yeah,
yeah. So you have a up and coming match with Enrico, if I said that correctly.
yes, sir. Excited.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? How you feeling? How's preparation coming along?
Preparation's going really good. This is like my first camp here in Vegas. So every other time I've done like half my camp in Austin and then either made a road trip out here or flew out here and got an Airbnb and then finished the last half of my camp out here. And there was some benefits to that for sure, like being able to adjust to all the dryness and the altitude a little bit and get to
Right.
utilize the PI while I'm in town. But there was also a ton of downsides too because I was like making a big change only like 2 or 3 weeks out, you know? So now I'm able to like
Right.
consistently follow the same routine for kind of the whole duration of the camp. So that's been super helpful. And I'm on the S&C program, the PT program, and they're aware of all of my training schedule. So like it's been literally like a big beehive. Like we're all communicating and working together with the PI. So it's been a very dialed camp. I've been enjoying it and feeling solid. The matchup, I like the matchup a lot. I initially, I think I forget who. Initially, I think it was PJ Barch we were trying to get a match with, and then I can't remember why he couldn't do it. And then Enrico was like very, very adamant about like, hey, I'll take the match, I'll take the match. And he had a really good performance against Francisco Lowe a few events back. I can't remember if it was UFC BJJ one or if it was the event before that, before they switched to the bowl.
Mhm.
But he competed against Francisco Lowe and had a draw with him. So it was a close match. Francisco has a win over me, so I think that it's a good matchup. Enrico is very similar to like Achilles Rocha, who I had a match against on the UFC platform as well, and I think that they train a lot together. They both train under the same roof, so I think that they'll be ready. We've competed against Wagner, and my wife's even competed against Jasmine Rocha. I fought Achilles, so we're very familiar with their style. Same with us, so it should be a competitive match. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, one thing I think about Williams' game is so cool is he's so good at like controlling someone that's trying to be like moving a lot, like very spazzy. Like he's able to stop that movement and make it like jujitsu instead of like that spazzy like anti like game, you know. So I feel like personally as a fan watching, I'm excited to see William do that, you know. And I've been training with him, and he feels so good right now.
Thanks,
After
man.
training with William Hector, I'll be staring at a wall like after like that's why when you ask me about my match, like this whole camp, this is the first time I'm having a camp with William, and we've been training so much. Like I'm pretty much desensitized to everyone possible after training with William.
Now let me ask you, Mikey. You're training with William. William's a little bit bigger. Is there a reason why you guys have been training
Uh,
together?
well, William's bigger, but he doesn't even like really use his strength so much when he trains because he's so technical. So he just pushes my mind. Like I'm like dead. Like my body's tired, but it's more my brain. You know what I mean? But it's just such a challenge for me. Like I really feel like a hack that I've done in the past is I don't even care about training so much with people in my division. I want to train with the best person that challenges me and pushes me, that like I really am learning jiu-jitsu the whole time, you know?
Heck
So
yeah.
I'm just constantly asking William questions, and like there's very few people in this world that like could tell me like work this and I'll just blindly listen, you know?
Yeah.
Probably on the top of my head, two people would be Cobrinha, Rafael Mendez, and Williams on that list now. Like that's how much like when he tells me work this move, I'll start working a move that he tells me.
Hey, you're on the list, Will. I
Wow,
didn't
that's
even make
wild.
the list.
Because your attention to details, you're not your attention to details is like different. You know what I mean? Like I really
Yeah.
learned so
I'm
much
more
training
the
with it.
I'm more the emotional comfort for my.
I want to follow up though on your question, Hector. I want to follow up. Do you not normally train with people that are bigger, or you typically stay with the people
No,
you're
the
bigger?
reason I asked that question is because I've been hearing, little rumors here and there about Mikey fighting, super fights. So I
Yeah,
don't
Arman.
know, you know what I mean? So I was thinking maybe he's prepared with William to kind of give him that look for a
Yeah.
potential fight with Arman.
So
Yeah.
yesterday, Arman announced that UFC is targeting me and Arman to have a grappling match end of
Oh,
August, beginning of September. So I'm able to say
nice.
this now, and I'm
All
really
right.
excited about it. And some people were upset with me with this Kevin match, but I could have waited until August to just do the match with Arman. But they wanted me to quick. I wanted to still compete, right? I wanted quickly to have a match, so they were able to get something together and have me have a match with Kevin, so I could stay active, you know. But yeah, it's targeting right now end of August, beginning of September, me versus Arman in a grappling match.
Let's
And
go.
it's more the size of William and Andrew, like those guys. And again, I'm training with the best guys in his division. So there's really no one that I'm pretty confident after training with the best guys in his division. Like he will not feel like them.
William, what do you think? How do you think Mikey would do in those?
Against Armand,
Yeah.
um, I don't think Armand's a jiu-jitsu guy. So like for me, like looking
It's
at
good
it from a
wrestling.
yeah, from an outside perspective, like I think that um, it's an interesting matchup because it's like cross kind of almost not cross promotions because they're both in UFC, but MMA and jiu-jitsu kind of like crossing. So it's always interesting when you see that, but like rarely does the jiu-jitsu guy lose in a jiu-jitsu match. So I mean, I'm obviously rooting for Mikey and believe in Mikey's skill set, but I do think it's very interesting. And Armand's proved that he can compete in really any sport and do well. But like even like the
And he's
RAF stuff, like
overpowered. He's stronger
I
than me.
yeah, I just don't think he's competing against like the highest caliber guys in these things. So it looks like he's winning a lot and doing this. And I'm not hating on Armand. Like I think what Armand's doing is amazing. Like I'm not doing that. But like, a lot of the dudes he's competing against, like even on RAF and stuff, like they're not like super high caliber. Like Mikey's the best in the world. So I'm obviously
Yeah.
going to be pulling for Mikey.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's going to be a great matchup.
It'll be interesting if Armand can keep Mikey off his legs. Cause like for me, it's like I roll with Mikey, and Mikey's so flexible, and he's so like he's flat back on the ground, but knees are on chest, and he's able to get underneath you so easily because of like his body type, but also because of his mobility. So
William,
that's
you
something
have to
that's like,
sandbag right now. You have to say I suck. I'm weak as hell. I
well,
like
I'm being honest, dude. Like in
I'm weak.
comparison to Armand, you probably are like weaker, right? Like he's a very athletic, strong guy, but like strength doesn't necessarily win matches. Like it may. I am always an advocator for strength. Like I think that like if we're gonna be equal in technique or similar in technique, I can make up for
The
a
same.
lot with strength and athleticism, right? But I think that you're a lot ahead of him technically. So
Yeah.
I think that like the strength won't be able to close that gap. Maybe for like the first 2 minutes when it's like strength
Mhm.
has more of a factor, but then like as the match goes on, like I don't know, I just see it's gonna be really hard for him to keep you off of his legs because like we haven't seen him do jiu-jitsu matches outside of
Yeah.
I think just Muhammad Mokaev. Like I think that's really the only jiu-jitsu match I've seen of his. He had another match on
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Karate
Yeah.
Combat, but it was against another wrestler, so it was just a wrestling match. Like when he went with Mokaev, he
Mm,
was passing a lot, but he's kind of spamming the same pass over and over again. Like for me, like that when I look at someone that's really high level grappling, is when they're chaining things together, like they're
yeah.
making reads. Like maybe I spam the same pass over and over again, the same way I'd be spamming a jab in the fight, but like I'm using
Yeah.
that to get reads. Like, okay, I went for it, but I wasn't necessarily expecting to secure that guard pass. I'm doing that to see a reaction. Okay, are you high legging? Are you trying to invert? Like, what are you doing? So I kind of gauge my next counter when I go for that pass again. So then I spam that pass, and then I know I got that read, so then now I can change to the next thing, which I didn't see him doing in his match, which could have been because Muhammad Makayev wasn't defending enough. Like maybe he didn't need to. He could just do the same thing over and over again. But I just see it's gonna be really hard. I don't see a route. Like Arman, for me, if he survives the match without getting submitted, it's a win for him. That's how I see it. I just don't see a route to him beating.
I do think that it's interesting for the spectators in terms of the MMA fans and the broad audience, because they look at the match and they're like, oh, Arman's so much bigger and stronger than me. He's going to smash me. Like, a lot of people actually think that he'll beat me. But the jiu-jitsu community itself would say otherwise, a lot of people. But I think that is just us showing, like, old school Royce Gracie times, right? Like how jiu-jitsu, like, it doesn't matter the size. Size freaking matters when you have a high-level technical person. But, like, when there's a technical level between two people and somebody's stronger than you, the technique could overcome that, right? And I think that we could get a lot of eyes to our sport from this match that will get more people to train, because we get the MMA people watching. So I love it that the viewership will be significantly higher because Arman is a star. And I do like us having some of these cross. And I want to see Andrew and you also get cross matches with more MMA guys, that we could get more people watching jiu-jitsu. So I think that we have to be grateful for these MMA people, that they help us bring more views to the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's more of the stylistic problem between you and Arman, not necessarily the skill gap, because I feel like Arman's really good where he's good. Like
And he has good
his ability
submissions.
to finish, like to defend submissions, like upper body submissions. He's probably one of the best in the sport. Like Charles had fully locked in subs on him and couldn't sub. He's also really good at finishing from the back. He's proven that. He's got amazing wrestling. He can wrestle with some of the best in the world. So like he's very good where he's good at. It's just like you're probably not going to let him get to the positions where he's good. You're probably going to keep him in your funnel. And your funnel's huge. So obviously things can change. Like we don't want to underestimate him, right? Like I think Arman, again, he's the best in the world, at what he does. But so are you.
I don't know. I'm kind of cocky because I train with you and Andrew, and you guys are the best at his weight. So I'll feel very comfortable fighting someone when I'm training the best two people at his weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like Arman,
That
honestly,
desensitizes me. Like, I'm not.
Arman would probably not like. This is my opinion. Like stylistically, I think that like Arman and like Andrew or Arman and me might even be more competitive because of the stylistic, right? It's like if I just tried to leg lock him, maybe, but like wrestling with him and getting these upper body exchanges, like that's where he can kind of like shine, But I'm not trying to hate on Arman's style or anything. I love Arman, and I'm a huge
No,
Arman
he's
fan.
great. And MMA jiu-jitsu is so different than regular sport jiu-jitsu. That's the
It's
big
so
thing
much
that we're
different.
saying.
Which like I'm excited to see what he comes up with, And he's in California training with some of the best guys. Like he's got Hamzat Chimaev there, which is huge for him. He's also got Jansen Gomez there as well. He's got some good guys in California that he's going to be training with for the matchup. So he probably will come more prepared than we think. But like I just don't really see like a way to victory for him.
And Kamzat is also doing RAF soon. It would be cool if Kamzat came to UFC BJJ also, and one of you guys had a match with him. Wouldn't that be so cool?
I would love to have a match
That'd
with
be
him.
cool.
He's just really big.
But the thing is, again, because he's a little heavier, so then it makes up for the sport jiu-jitsu. I think that's what the kind of trend is. If we fought the same weight class, it might be too much of a difference. But when the guy's a little heavier than us, the MMA guy, he's strong, he's tough. So it makes it a way more fair challenge.
Yeah, it makes it more intriguing, right?
I agree with you guys. And also, guys, I wanted to touch it. Obviously, you guys have signed with the UFC BJJ, where Techi and Claudia are doing a great job. And a lot of people are, you got these people saying, "Oh, this and that," and this is better. At the end of the day, people need to understand that every business organization starts from scratch, and they're going to start building. But I think there's a lot of potential there.
One more thing before you go on, Hector. I just want to point this out that we're all love grappling. We love jiu-jitsu. We're not like this crazy, we're UFC BJJ and other things suck. We're really neutral and fair, all of us. Like, I love watching the full grappling events. I love watching the one championship grappling events. Wherever there's a good match, I watch. You know what I mean? We're
Absolutely.
supporting all these events.
Absolutely. And again, it's great to see. It's great to see because it's giving everybody a platform and an opportunity to grow the sport, where at some point nobody was getting paid. We would have to pay to be able to do some stuff, right? But it's like we got to be grateful for all these organizations to give people a platform where they can build their brand, grow the sport, and let's see, good fights and great fights. There's a lot of matchups that I love to see, but do you guys feel like the UFC BJJ will be the premier league at some point, or do you feel like you got CGI, you've got Flow, which they're also doing a great job giving out money? What are you guys' thoughts on those situations?
I think that if UFC continues to do what they're doing now, which is adjusting event to event, listening to feedback, and continuing to put on regular shows where they're paying athletes, there's no reason why they shouldn't be the premier event because no other event is doing that. Like you can look to CJI and be like, oh, they're listening to the feedback. They're changing the formatting from event to event. They're paying the athletes, but they're not regular. It's not a regular event. It happens every
Yeah,
every
what do
year,
you
one time a year.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Craig Jones and his $10 million?
I mean, that's it. Awesome. It's great for the sport. It's very, very awesome. We didn't have any of that in the back in the day, so I'm always here for that. Like Mikey said, I'm not tied to one organization.
Yeah.
I'm with UFC because I believe in UFC and they gave me the best opportunity compared to everyone
Yeah.
else. So like that's why I chose it. But like I'm still a fan of all the other orgs. Like I just watched the Who's Number One tournament. I was just at ADCC trials. I watched Ty Rotolo and Pavel on one championship. Like I keep up with
Yeah.
everything, even IBJJF matches. So, but I do think that UFC has the potential to be the premier promotion because, like, for Who's Number One, they put on regular events, but honestly, UFC is about to start putting out like 2 times, 3 times more events than them. And then UFC is putting on like big matchups each event too, like pretty large matchups where they're paying like people pretty well to show up. You're getting exclusive contracts, which is huge. Like one champion or Who's Number One, as far as I know, they don't offer exclusive contracts. I'm pretty sure they just offer
Mm.
like semi-exclusive. They offer exclusive, but the benefit of being exclusive with the UFC is it's like, all right, I know that I get contracted this many bouts per year, no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm having to shop around with the next organization. Like that's always been a problem for me, and why the UFC was so enticing for me is because I would compete for Who's Number One, and I would do well, but like maybe I would lose a match by decision because like I faced Ty Rotolo and Lucas Barboza on less than 5 days' notice, both of them. Like main events fell out and I stepped in. Like Craig Jones was supposed to actually fight both of them, and I stepped in for Craig both times, and I lost decisions to both of them. But like, I mean, I still stepped up and I kind of helped save the event. And I still put on an exciting match, and then now I don't get a match for a while, and it's like just because I lost, and it's just kind of how their marketing machine works. So then it's like, okay, well, I didn't win this match, so now like my rate isn't going up. I'm not making more money, and it's not like I'm making a lot of money for the match anyways. And then now I got to go try to look and okay, I guess I'm going to do trials. I'm going to do 7 matches for free. I guess I'm going to go do this event for
Yeah.
$2,500 or something. It was very inconsistent. And then now CJI pops around. Okay, I hop in for 10K to show,
Yeah.
and then I go to this other event where I'm getting paid $2,500. It's like so it
Right.
wasn't
It's
very
depressing
consistent
almost.
for me. So
It's
UFC
depressing
was like
almost.
exactly. I'm contracted for the money that I feel like I'm worth per match, the money that I want to make, and the matches that I want to hit in a year. Like I get to say, hey, this is the number that I want to compete this year, and they're going to hold
Yep.
me to it. I'm going to hold them to it, and it's an agreement, right? Whereas like
Yeah.
when all right, I lose my Who's Number One match to Francisco Lowe back in the day, right? I didn't get another offer for Who's Number One until a year later, and it was a short notice match before CJI. And it's like, see, like that's not consistent for me. Like I can't make a living off of that. I can't build a brand off
Yeah.
that either. So for me, like this is way better. Like this is what was missing in all the other organizations. So to your initial question, that's why I feel like UFC can be the premier league because they have all of the means necessary to allow us to compete entirely for them the whole year long and take care of us and help build us up. And by taking care of us and helping build us up, they're protecting their investment. They're by giving me PT, giving me strength and conditioning protocols and nutrition and access to all of the amenities at the PI. Like that's all of them protecting their investment and making sure that I can show up as best as possible. Match day, which no other organization can provide that yet.
I think for me, like what William said, it's very depressing when I think about and overwhelming. I gotta find a place to compete. And I remember when I was in the gi circuit again, there was zero money in the gi, and I won Gi Worlds, and I was pretty much done competing. I was like, screw this. There's no money in this. I'm just gonna go to law school. So I had a full scholarship to law school in Vegas. I was gonna go, and then I had this opportunity to do Who's Number One. So I switched from gi to no gi, and that kind of kept me training and like back to competing. That fire, like, okay, I could actually do Who's Number One and get into that. And I had a good experience at Who's Number One. I'm grateful to them. I feel like they were the start of this no gi like spread, right? Like I know again, from my perspective, I know in your time, there was probably other things like Metamorphs, things like that. But I feel like the Who's Number One took off a little bit, and then one championship came around. And then, so I feel like I was all over the place. I went from Austin to Asia and then back to Vegas. But what kept me in this sport was the hope that we could have some sort of stability in a league where there's money, where we could get endorsements, like real endorsements. That's one other point that I would say, William, being with UFC BJJ. Hector, you're my manager. We know that like I'm getting MMA endorsements now from being with us. So we get that platform to get those endorsements. That if I was in the jiu-jitsu tournaments, I wouldn't get MMA endorsements.
Yeah. And again, I think it's starting to open a lot of doors. Like Mikey said, we've gotten some great sponsorships thanks to UFC BJJ, to be honest with you. And it's only going to help other athletes be able to get to that level. Congratulations, Mikey, on your big the monster deal, right?
Yeah.
We got the
But no, I'm just saying, like it just shows like what we're capable of in grappling. You know, like we're really able to start getting these opportunities that we would have never gotten back in the day. And I'm considered an unk now, which is hilarious because I'm an unk now. Like the Tackets, like these are like the new generation. I'm still able to be in that generation, kind of, but I am older now. And it's just really cool what opportunities they're going to have in their generation, right? But we're kind of making that platform now for everyone. And again, UFC has like 10 events per year. So like you can make a contract with them, hey, I want to fight 3 or 4 times, and you get to have that chance. Instead of having to like message around like, oh, there's a tournament here, I could go here, I could go here. I can't live like that. I have too much anxiety as it is. Like I'm an anxious person. I would just go back to school. Like I would never do this if I had to do that path.
Structure. Yeah.
It's honestly, it's amazing. Structure. We all need structure. We all get to a certain spot where we have to make a decision like, hey, I need to make a living. I need to get, know that this is coming in. If not, I'm just like scrambling. It's very tough. But one thing that I do want to hit is and I wanted to ask you guys is, now you see a lot of Americans doing very good in tournaments. You've got yourselves, you got, Gordon Ryan, Helena, and all this. Back in the day, Brazilians were like top notch, and there's still a lot of great Brazilians out there. But you're starting to see a lot of Americans do very good in the grappling scene. What do you think it is that is helping the U.S. Grow in this sport?
I honestly want to even to answer your question, touch on something that Mikey said too, where you said it was like depressing to like go from event to event, not making money training in the gi. Like that was kind of my realization. That's why I stopped competing in the gi, is because like my last gi competition that I did was like a short notice one against Pedro Mourinho on a super fight. But like my last gi competition that I was training for and competing and did a full camp was Purple Belt Gi Worlds. And I ended up winning like 5 or 6 matches. It was in 2019, and I lost the quarterfinal to Vinicius Martins. He had like medaled Brasileiros at the time. He just like stalled me out in double lasso, and like I won all my matches from comeback wins, where I was like all 5 matches of the day practically were comeback, like down advantage, down like maybe 2 or something, and then I would come back and like take the back and win at the end, or get a sub, or like score.
I didn't even sleep at night, William.
It was awful. And so the same thing happened in my match with Vinicius. Like I literally was down advantages the whole time because he was like semi-lasso sweeping me, but like not trying to come up, just to score advantages.
Yeah.
And then I flying armbarred him out of bounds. And literally, like he's on his back and I have the armbar, and the ref's like, no, stand up. Like I said, stop before you initiated it. And I'm just like, dude, like this is so annoying. I literally, like I had like my wife at the time lived in Florida, and it was when we were just dating. And I'm like, dude, I'm barely making any money from jiu-jitsu. I want to go spend time with my girlfriend and go see her. But like, I'm literally having to pay out of pocket to this trip to California, pay out of pocket for the hotel, the flight, the registration, my camp fees, everything, to show up and do 5 matches for free, lose in the quarterfinals because I got stalled out, and then now
So
I didn't make
depressing.
anything. And then literally like 2 weekends later, I competed on Third Coast Grappling, won a super fight. Can't remember how much I made. It was probably like around $1,000, as a purple belt. And then I ended up flying to Chicago the next day, competed at Midwest Finishers, and won the $5,000 bracket. So it's like I made way more competing 2 matches at Nogi than I made doing my 6 matches at Gi Worlds. And like
And
I
dying
spent
with
money
all
doing
those
that.
crazy matches. Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like, to now kind of bounce back to what you were saying, Hector, of like why do we feel like the Americans are starting to kind of pick up a little bit more than they were before, and maybe that like the Brazilians aren't as dominant as previously? I mean, I still think the Brazilians are super dominant. Like I just lost to
Yeah, they
Ronaldo
are.
Jr. He's like he's Brazilian. Like there's a ton
Okay,
of really
okay.
good Brazilians
First
out.
of all, your
But
rib
like,
came out in 1 minute into. So, guys, William won't say this, but like I felt his fucking rib. It's pointing out
yeah,
like after the match, like 1 minute into the match, it came out, and then he still fought the whole fight with that. So I don't even consider that an actual match. Like how imagine try to fight someone like so explosive like Ronaldo with your rib pointing out.
for sure. It
Like
was
it was
tough.
like
It
came
definitely was
out, like it
tough.
was like this, like it's
You want,
fucking gross.
yeah, William, you want that rematch after this? Would you like the
Oh yeah,
rematch after this?
Well, they didn't have a real match. It wasn't a real match at all.
yeah. No, I'm hoping I can make a statement in this match and then get right back into title contention. But honestly, whatever my bosses, Claudia and Tetcher, are wanting to do, I'm just here to show up and compete to whoever they put in front of me. So if it's title contention, cool. If I got to beat someone else before I go title, that's cool too. I'm just trying to get in there and win the matches in front of me. So Enrico Said's like the guy in front of me right now. He's the roadblock. I got to get through him. So, but I would love to eventually get another match with Ronaldo. PJ Barch, I mentioned him earlier. He's also someone I would always wanted to get a match with again because he's beat me when I was like young, and we've never had a rematch since. So I would love to do that. But like for me, like back to like the previous convo with like the Brazilians, I think that it's because of that mentality in the gi of like, hey, we don't need to like win these matches. We just need to like outscore the opponent, or like
Mhm.
win our advantages. Like that's how all my matches were in the gi. And I've like won some big stuff in the gi. Like I've won like juvenile Pan Ams and stuff. Like I've done well in the gi, but like it was because I was like able to somehow like get a submission, and it would always be like they were just barely outscoring me. And I wasn't on like a big team where I could like kind of train for that. I was in a small gym. Most of my training partners were also like gi and no gi guys. So I wasn't able to really develop that IBJJF system that you need, I was just like competing sub only out there in an IBJJF match. So like I think now that I've refined that, it makes me more dangerous because like I can submit you at any point in the match. But I can also outscore you too, because I have kind of both sides of the coin. Whereas like the guys that stayed in the gi, like I ended up switching pretty much full time to no gi after that. Like I've been pretty much doing
Wow.
full time no gi for 7 years now. So like these guys are just now getting into it. They're trying to play like an IBJJF game out there, and it just doesn't
It's very
work.
hard. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't work.
And
In this
and going back to the IBJJF game, I watch it. I just came back from a kids tournament in OC, and it's so annoying that I don't know. Maybe my professor always taught us to like just bang to the finish, right? But then you get these guys that get up an advantage and they just sit there, and it's like, okay, I just lost because he didn't want to engage and he's playing that safety game. And it's very annoying. To me, either you pass or you didn't pass. There shouldn't be no advantages. That's
Yeah.
the way I look at it.
I think that will be very
Yeah.
interesting long term. I know UFC BJJ wants to have gi matches as well. So I'm actually
That's
later
sick.
in the year. Hopefully, I'm gonna convince them to let me do a gi match. Like, we'll
That'd be
see,
cool.
but that would be pretty cool because I love the gi. Like, honestly, I'm way better in the
With
gi
no
still.
resets would be awesome, bro. Like,
No, imagine.
because all of the
I
major
think
gi organizations,
I
you can
think
go out of
everything would be
bounds and
different
reset.
with us doing gi in the UFC BJJ rule set
So much
in the
different.
bowl.
It would be
Yeah,
insane. So, yeah, it's gonna be really
it'll be
nice.
great.
Dude, like actually one of the last cards they had, which was the card? It was the card that Mora won the title against Fionn
The
Davis. I think that
Fion,
was
Fion.
6.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
Hmm.
that was 6, right? UFC
The
BJJ
one before
6.
this, yeah.
Yeah, that was like they were saying it was like the most boring event they put on, and
No,
like a
dude,
lot of
you
the
and me were
fans said that
sitting
too.
there. You and
And
me
you
were
know
sitting
why?
there, and you know how bad my ADHD is and Andrew's is. We were completely
Yeah,
gone the whole time, and
it
then
was
I kept
bad,
asking
dude.
William, like, "What's happening?"
It's because they,
Yeah,
and I hate to say it, but it's the IBJJF thing. They put a bunch of
Yeah.
IBJJF guys in there, and it's like they're
yeah,
literally doing an IBJJF match under the UFC banner. They're not competing in a UFC BJJ match. They're not trying to chase the submission, and it's 10-point must scoring system. You don't need to try to like battle for each micro movement like you do in the gi because of advantages. But like they are doing that, and they're doing that, and that's what made the matchups kind of boring. Is it's like okay, you can
100%.
take like a guy from IBJJF. He's really good because he knows how to win. You know, he just needs to win 7 matches in a day, so he knows how to win.
right.
You know, you put him against one of these sub only guys, like that's really good. Also, maybe one of the best sub only guys. The IBJJF guy might beat him because he knows how to win. He can kind of stall it out.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not even as good as jiu-jitsu as this sub only dude or this UFC BJJ competitor or whatever, you know. But he can beat him because he kind of knows how to win, and he's gonna make it really boring. So it's almost like, bro, we can bring these guys in. If you put them with each other, they're boring. If you put them against like a sub only guy, they're boring too. Like it's tough to make
It's
these
hard to attack
matchups.
them when they're not fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And,
tough to make
and
these
I noticed
matchups.
that in one match, I was watching match and I was like, okay, he's just not even trying to pass. He's just trying to control the legs, go move side to side, but you're really not trying to pass or trying to engage. And
And
it's
you're like, what are you doing there? Like, I don't know what your purpose of life is. Like, why are you there? Like, what? Like,
yeah,
it makes me so mad when I see that as well.
yeah,
But it's exactly what William said. It's just the IBJJF mentality, and I grew up in that mentality. Right, I was
But you
extreme.
never had that mentality, right? You never had
I
that.
always
You were
went for the
always going to
finish.
get finished.
But the
yeah,
reason why was how I'm gonna ask you about your mindset with competing after, William. But
Hmm.
how I was when I was growing up, I got so much anxiety before competing that Hector saw me. Like I die. Like it doesn't matter. I'm just always dying before. And
yeah,
in my mind, I'm like, all right, if I explode and get to a good position, the match is over. And now I could relax. I'm calm. So that
Yeah.
uncomfortability I used as like this fuel to like attack and be aggressive. So I always was very aggressive in getting good spots and matches in the beginning because of that. Like I would just instantly like, okay, wait, so if I just go hard in the beginning, I don't have to actually be in this match, like the fight's done. But if I start slow and then I have to have like a long match and like brawl, like go head to head with this person, that sucks. You know what I mean? So that was always my mentality. Like work hard now, enjoy life later, but in the match.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with the 10-minute thing, right? Like if you do a 10-minute gi match where like it's a score the whole time, like that's what's nice about the 3 rounds is it's just 5 minutes, and then hey, now we're in another match. We're in like
yeah,
three matches, you know, and it's like whoever
I-
wins the most matches wins, you know. Or if I just get a submission throughout any 3, I win. Whereas like IBJJF, it's like one long 10-minute match. So you have so much room for error and getting behind that you're not actually like
Yeah.
really wanting to like take risks. Like that whole thing that you're talking about of like I need to get to a good position early, but like if you spend your energy in the first 5 like really forcing something to happen and get someone that's also good, then now the last 5 they're gonna like outscore you. You know, it's like so it's like
yeah,
it's a tough like balance. You know, you were obviously able to make it work because you're extra special. You're better than pretty much everybody, right? Like
I
you
was
just
just,
clean the
but
divisions always.
I I feel like what I was really good at is I was very tactical and I was very good at attacking at the same time. I balanced them. I feel like if
You
I
were
just
dangerous
attack
but tactical,
people,
yeah.
if I started attacking people, just attacking them, it's dangerous because then people do not do anything. They just counter and hold.
Hmm.
Everyone in IBGF tries to hold and not really attack. But if you start beating them tactically, then now if they hold me, they're already losing. So then they're forced to actually do jujitsu with me. And then when they actually open up and do jujitsu with me, I'm able to submit most of them. That's like. But then what started happening also, people actually didn't even care. Like they would just celebrate losing to me by like a closer margin. You know what I mean? So that starts happening at that point. Then I start getting hate. Oh, that's messed up. You're stalling. Like I don't know, but one time I'll say I was a bitch, William. I was in World's Finals against Bruno Malfacine, Worlds 2021, and I had that mentality: work hard, enjoy life later. And I bullied him to the back. I locked a body triangle, and I was like, I'm done. And like, I didn't try to
I'm not
finish.
moving.
I didn't try anything. I just bitched out of the match. You know what I mean? I felt so bad after. I was like, wow, why did I do that? Like, that was bad. But I was just like, that was the IBJJF way. Like, you're just like, all right,
Yeah.
I did enough. I have no incentive right now to do more than this, right? I'm against Bruno Malfacine, one of the best in the world. Like, I'm done. I'm packing my bags. Like, I mentally checked out. I just locked a body triangle and just stayed there.
And UFC BJJ is starting to fix that, right? With the incentive that you're talking about. You had no incentive to finish, but like UFC BJJ, they don't give you a win bonus. And I don't know about your contract,
Mm.
but they don't give me a win
Yeah.
bonus. They give me a finish bonus. So like you're encouraged to finish. You have to go out there
Or they're
and
just mad
finish the
at you
match and
after.
do
They
like a
don't care if
game.
you win. If
Yeah.
you don't attack the person and you just like if you win a match and you don't really do anything in your match, they're just pissed at you. Like it's like you lost. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really even they don't even care about the result. If you go out and go like a really entertaining, beautiful match, they're not gonna punish you for that. They're actually gonna give you more matches. Opposed to what you said previously, if you lose a match, you start getting less matches. So I think that incentive to just go out and give it your all, knowing that you're actually gonna get more opportunities from doing that is what people should start seeing. Like it changes that perspective of being safe in a match and conservative and like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
100%.
I really like that they're giving you guys, hey, a little push with giving you guys a little bit of money. Hey, if you finish, you get this, And I also, I've been hearing that they're gonna start implementing drug testing, which
Yes.
is something that should be, you know what I mean? Like there's this misconception and I'm just gonna use my example. I'm not picking on him, but oh, people use steroids and they win. Well, for example, Gordon, right? He's admitted that he does use. It's totally fine. It's his choice.
I love how we're
But
legally protecting ourselves right now. He's admitted, and then
no, I'm just saying he's admitted it, but it's okay. Like that's his
Yeah.
choice. But this is just my opinion, and I tell people all the time. They say, "Oh, well, Anderson Silva, who's the GOAT in UFC?" To me, if you need that to win, then I can't consider you the GOAT. That's just my opinion. I just can't because you needed something to get a little bit higher than the other ones. And it's okay, that's your choice. But I can consider you the GOAT, just like Anderson Silva, right? He got caught. For me, I thought he was the GOAT, but he got caught. So how can I say that you're the best in the world? Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard
it's
to
just
say.
my opinion.
Yeah.
I like that the UFC is now, hey, they're gonna implement this. What is your thoughts about that in particular now that they're gonna be testing people? And what did you think before? Is he truly the GOAT? Is he not the GOAT? And everybody has a different opinion on it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely respect your opinion, and I think similarly. I think with Gordon, I have a slightly different perspective on it because it's not like he was using in competitions that were not allowing it. So he's competing
Right.
against other people that are also using. So, like in the sub only, non tested scene, I would consider him to be the GOAT, Nogi. But, like, if we're
yeah,
talking
no doubt.
like overall, like, you can't throw him in that conversation because he can't pass a drug test, right? So,
Right.
but as far as like the testing and stuff, I think it's solid. I think that we need more of it. I think that it's going to be a longer process than what we maybe people are letting on. It's not going to be like a immediate fix. It's going to take several years for like us to completely kind of pull away from like the drug usage in the sport. And also, it's going to take time for the UFC to really build a legit testing program too, because just
Right.
to all of a sudden bring like USADA or water or whatever in and have them do randomized testing year round, it's like a lot of money. It costs a lot of money for the
Yeah.
Right.
sport, and it makes it really hard for the athletes constantly having to like check in where they're at. Like even my buddy Cody Steele, literally like he's 100% clean, never touched anything, and like he has like a I think like a strike or something because he went to like New York for like Christmas for like a day
Yeah,
trip.
yeah, you
And
gotta check
tell
in. You
them
gotta
that he's
check
going.
in.
He went with his wife and or his girlfriend, and they went back, and then you saw it was like you weren't here, like you didn't tell us, and they got like mad at him, Um, obviously he passes all their drug tests and stuff, but like it takes time for them to get to that level, And for jujitsu, they're still a new, like you said, new organization, have a lot to prove, have a lot to work on. I think initially, like it's going to be similar to probably how IBJJF does it, where it's just like maybe event testing. They mentioned maybe doing like
Right.
randomized from the moment you sign
Yeah.
your
Nice.
contract. So maybe like several weeks of randomized testing, but that's not going to completely clean up the sport. It's going to take a little bit of
Yeah.
time. It's going to take a few years, I
Right.
think. So I think it's the right direction, and I think it's great. But I don't think we can expect an overnight fix. If you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, so I am one of the most vocal people about PEDs, and I've been way more calm and chill about this, right, recently. I just don't because I got so burnt out from like being like the only person like advocating this, Rutolas as well, Tackett's, but at one point it was just like me and like everyone's just pissed at you every second, right? So I've come to like a peace in my mind, but I just remember coming up and like I didn't really know if I could win worlds against these like PED people because they were just so freaking strong. So it was very discouraging coming up. But what happened was I just became so much more technical because I didn't take PEDs, and I feel like the people that take PEDs, their moves work, but they need more strength to make their moves work. So they need less jiu-jitsu, right? And they have beautiful jiu-jitsu, some of them, but the ratio of strength to technique, they didn't need as much as we need now. So I feel like as there's less PEDs in our sport, we'll get more and more jiu-jitsu, which is beautiful. And I just really want to stop the trend of children taking steroids. You know, that's very common in jiu-jitsu as well. I'm not naming any names, allegedly things, but I'm not getting sued on this podcast. But anyways, yeah, I just think that is such an amazing change to the sport. And I've come to peace with my anger toward the old generation with this. I used to be angry at them and like pissed, and I was like, I had to do this. I won worlds all these years while everyone else is taking PEDs. Like, fuck these people. But then I came to peace with it that in their time, it was different than our time, right? Their generation, they did it, and that's fine. But now it's on us to change the next generation. And I see them all as amazing competitors. And Gordon is a GOAT of submission only. In his time, there was no drug testing. So I really respect him for that. But now I think it's on, instead of saying, I did this, you guys should do this as well. You should be changing things. Okay, guys, this was my generation. That was a different time. Now we want to start making it better, the sport. We want to clean the sport for the next generation. So then kids coming up look at us and they're like, wait, they don't take steroids. I could win worlds not taking steroids. I didn't even know if I could win worlds at that time, you know? So that's why I had such a fix in my mind about PEDs and steroids.
Yeah. Well, and it's on the flip side too, right? Because then you have the PED users that are going to be like, oh, like my identity is attached to these PEDs because I won my titles on PEDs. So I feel like I almost have to advocate for the use of PEDs. So that's when you see people like Gordon who are like advocating for the use of PEDs. They release like long, detailed YouTube videos explaining on why jiu-jitsu shouldn't have drug testing, and he's like defending like the
Which is
PEDs.
insane.
So then, and it's just because his legacy is tied to it, right? So it's like we need to like get to a place where people kind of can put that
We can accept that he did it, and it was his time. Now it's different.
yeah, put ego aside and be like, hey, you know, we're trying to do this not only for professionalism of the sport, but also just for health, like kids' health, like you're talking about, like
Longevity. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and again, it's so significantly different when I compete with someone with PEDs versus not, like how they feel. They feel like a fucking rock. Like you feel their body, it's like a wall. You're like, what the fuck is this? And then like then when you're not with someone with PEDs, their body moves. Like it feels human, you know, like that's one thing I'll say is every time I train with UFC fighters currently on the testing pool, they actually feel like regular strong men, like actually. But then when you train with the jiu-jitsu people, like, what the hell is this? They're like rocks.
I'll compete like I'll train with like this random guy that like is just using steroids because he thinks it's like cool and that's how you win jiu-jitsu matches. And he like sucks at jiu-jitsu, but he's like absurdly strong. And I'm like, bro, and he like doesn't even lift. And I'm like, the heck? Like I train with these high-level professional UFC fighters that are like the best of the best at like gene pool, super athletic and you know, super one-of-one genetics and work really hard. And they don't even feel close to this like hobbyist guy that's just on steroids, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, Mikey, you've rolled with the Dagestanians before, you know, Omar, right?
Yep.
How'd you feel him? You know what I mean? He's
Well, they're in the testing pool. They're actually getting tested. They feel like strong, like naturally strong guys. They don't feel juiced to the gills because they're getting tested. So the program works, right? Like they're not taking steroids, these guys. They have to not take, you know? So I think that is such a great thing for our sport. And it's going to take a few years. Like what we talked about in the meeting, the drug testing meeting, it was a few of us, William, Andrew, me, and a few others. What we talked about was that in the MMA for UFC, it took them a lot of years to change that, right? It took them like 3 to 5 years. Right. So it's not an overnight fix, like William said. It's going to take some time, but this is the first step because what's happening in grappling is even though, like, okay, let's look at all the organizations in Jiu-Jitsu. IBJJF, drug testing. Polaris, drug testing. UFC BJJ, drug testing. Who doesn't have drug testing? Okay, ADCC,
And flow.
Who's number one? Okay, but now like there's more or the same amount of drug testing versus not. So basically, what we're seeing is like before they would just say, "Oh, our whole sport, there's no drug testing in our sport." But now we're starting to get organizations that actually have drug testing, right?
There's almost
Oh,
more
one
Yeah.
drug testing
drug
organizations
testing
than
to one championship.
non-drug testing. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
so
have one
now more
championship as
versus
well.
not. Yep, one championship drug testing. I got drug tested there like 3 times.
Okay.
So I think that that's really good. Like we're actually getting more. Like the majority is becoming drug testing, and then the PED people, if they don't want a drug test, awesome. Just go to the organizations that don't have that. But don't be mad at us for having this opportunity and growing our sport in a different way. If you want to take your steroids, just do it in your organization. We're fine with that. Go ahead. We'll support you.
Yeah,
Like William
make less
said,
money,
I'm
do
a fan
less
of all Jiu-Jitsu.
matches.
I'll
Like,
watch your
yeah,
matches. I
yeah,
actually
I'll still
love
watch
watching your
them.
matches and learning. But
But you're gonna like
but
make less
don't be
money. You're gonna
mad about
compete
not
less
having this
often.
opportunity.
Yeah, like I mean, sign with a big organization if you want to, do big things. I feel like that like our first conversation we had on the podcast is like UFC BJJ. I think could be premier promotion. Like, I mean, well then you guys better start getting clean because you're gonna need to be over here eventually. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
get clean and hop in UFC BJJ and do it right. Because I guarantee you, if you pop on UFC BJJ, it's not going to be good. Like you're going to get a
Yeah.
big
No.
suspension, you're probably going to get a big fine, and they're going to blast you on social media. That's one thing that like IBJJF is just literally a slap on the wrist if you popped. It's like, okay, yeah, you can't compete next worlds, but like you can just take sauce all year. Like they give you like a year off to keep taking steroids for the next event, and then they don't like there's no repercussions. Like there's like maybe like
No.
one article that comes out about you. Like it's like yeah.
No, William, I remember when Paulo Miao and Mika Galval failed the drug test and there was hashtag free Paulo, hashtag free Mika. I'm like, what the is this? They just failed
Yeah.
the steroids and
Yeah.
everyone's just saying free them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and you know what? You're starting to see people transition to UFC BJJ. They want to fight in UFC BJJ. So again, I mean, I like I was saying, I think they'll end up being the Premier League. I think they have the potential. They're doing a great job. They're building. They're in the building process still. Just like any business, it takes time to get where you want to get to. And I think they'll get there at some point and add that drug testing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that the biggest thing for me with UFC BJJ again is just going to take some time. But these other, I feel a lot of people are against UFC BJJ and they're upset with UFC BJJ. But then when they start realizing the life of a competitor, that they have to find all these random organizations, that it's exhausting,
So
and then they
tired.
start
Yeah.
realizing that, and then their view changes about UFC BJJ. They're like, wait, this is one organization. Like you could have multiple fights, like this, like stability. Like you don't have to feel like so stressed every second, So I feel like it's a great start. But another thing I think is interesting, Hector and William, I want to talk to you about this. So people say about exclusivity with jiu-jitsu. And back in the day, there was no exclusivity, right? So there's just ADCC and IBJJF gi worlds. Those are the two meccas, right? Like if you win those, like those are the two big ones. But if you didn't do those, you got no publicity or anything. So technically, you were stuck on an exclusive setup to do these two things where you made zero money doing. So people complain and argue that that time period was better when nobody was making money. There was no exclusivity, but they're making no money and you're all exclusive to that organization, even though you don't have a contract to be exclusive. So
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. The complete opposite effect. Everyone was together, right? But then the extreme opposite of that is exclusive where everyone's in one organization. So I think both extremes yield everyone in the same organization. But the in between is where the problem right now, where multiple people are in different organizations. But it's still growing our sport long term, and more people are getting more financial opportunities. So I'm all for these multiple organizations, like what we talked about with who's number one. As we have more and more things with UFC BJJ doing the right things for athletes, I feel like these other organizations are going to have to fix whatever they're doing wrong, and they're going to have to accommodate their athletes as well. They'll have to pay more. Competition is good. Competition raises the prices of things. So I do feel that this is a great step. I do think long-term UFC will eventually be the Premier League. But I think that this beginning part of UFC, we just have to be patient and we have to be grateful to them for helping the other organizations grow and having to match the terms. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I say that it's similar in a gym. Like for me, I own a jiu-jitsu gym. I need other gyms and competition for me to get better, right? You need competition, and I enjoy it. And when they're doing good, man, good for them. But if they're doing better than me, that pushes me to like, hey, maybe I need to step my game up. Maybe I need to do some changes. And I think this having UFC BJJ is gonna, like you said, it's gonna push them to step their game up and go to the next level.
Yeah, and like UFC BJJ hasn't even been around for a year yet.
Yeah.
It's like so new. And they already have like a lot of consistent matchups that people want to see. Like they get to see Mikey compete constantly. They get to see Andrew compete a ton. Get to see Fione compete, Mora. They get to see like all of these matchups that everyone wants to see. Mason Fowler. Like I was always wanting to see those matches on the big show anyways. We're getting them on the big show regularly, and people are complaining that we're not getting the matchups they want to see. Like, and they want to see Andrew versus the Rotolos. That's like what everyone's calling for. They're like, Rotolos are in one, Andrew's in UFC. Like, it sucks that we're never going to see that. And I'm like, no, we've seen that match 5 times. They fought already 5 times. Like, Gordon and Felipe Pena didn't even have that, and like they're both basically retired now. Like they've actually competed a lot. We've had a lot of matches. Just because they're not competing right now doesn't mean it won't ever happen again.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's never
Yeah.
happened. Like people are just so short sighted. They want like the biggest match ever, but like they're still getting a ton of really good matchups. And UFC BJJ has only been around for 1 year. Wait till 3, 4, 5 years down the line, they're gonna have a big roster. You're not gonna complain about the matchups.
But I also think it's selfish of the community in a certain way because they don't have any empathy for how hard it is for us to make money in this sport. Like for example, my contract was up a few months ago with UFC BJJ, right? And Baby Shark just won a match and won championship and got to the belt. So it was like, okay, do I leave UFC BJJ to fight Baby Shark, who people are saying I'm ducking when I tried to fight him for like 2 years? Do I leave and ruin my career and leave and lose my contract with UFC to go and fight this guy so I get less hate? Do I do that, or do I follow what I'm supposed to do, make good money, have the best platform in the world, and keep growing my brand and getting more and more people to do jiu-jitsu? Which one is the
And when
correct
he's ready to come over, he can get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember Mikey telling me about it. Mikey was like, "Hector, what do I do?" I'm like, bro, just stay
And
right here.
I have that part of me that's like, I should just go after him like this.
Yeah.
Like, contract, I don't give a f- I'm going after him. I'll breach my
I'm gonna
contract.
cut his neck. I need to get it, Hector. I'm like, calm down. We'll get there. You'll be here at some
But at the
point.
end of the day, this is such a new thing for us to actually make money and have financial opportunities. Why would I ruin my career doing that?
Yeah.
So I think that the jiu-jitsu community has to be patient. They will get a lot of amazing matchups in the future, but be more happy that we're actually getting financial opportunities now. All these people in one. One gives money a lot to athletes. They do a great job. Who's number one pays people. All these organizations are paying people. Great. God bless them. Let them make their money. Don't complain and gaslight the person and make them feel bad that they're making money when none of us would ever make money in the past.
And like also, how many matches has Baby Shark had since with one?
Just one match.
True that.
One
One.
match.
How many have you
And
had,
he
Mikey?
signed. He signed the same
4.
time you signed with UFC, right?
No, he
How many
signed
have you had?
before. No, yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah, around the
before
same
you
time.
did more around the same time, right? But how many matches have you had with
Yeah, he
UFC?
only had one fight in 2 years, but he won.
Yeah, and how many have you
William,
had
how
with
many
UFC?
fights have you had?
Like 5, right?
How many
You've
have you had,
5?
William?
Oh, me? I've had Achilles, Kyle Chambers, and Ronaldo. I've had 3. So this will be my 4th.
And
And I've been signed for less than a year.
yeah, and if you notice, I mean, look at the difference. And you're making good money, consistent money. These guys,
Yeah.
yeah, they might make a good bag, but then they're sitting around for how long? So how you gonna eat?
Well, and that's
You
what
gotta
I'm saying about like these fans complaining, saying like we want these matchups. Well, it's like, well, then sign with UFC, who's actually giving matchups. Like Mikey's fought almost every event. Andrew's fought like
Yeah,
almost
I'm
every
doing my
event.
5th
Like
match this time.
I've competed as much as I've been able to. Like literally as many times as I've wanted to compete, they've let me compete. Whereas like these guys who are at one championship are just stuck. Like, yeah, I want a match, but there's no matches. Like Hanato Kanuto is one of my best. Like I love Hanato. Like I've known him for a long time. Bro was on Who's Number One or One Championship, and he lost to Tommy Langacker and got benched for the rest of his contract. Didn't get to compete again. He just basically had to sit there and wait till his contract was up, and then now he was able to go somewhere else. Like, that's awful. That's like really unfortunate for him because he's like a super high profile athlete that's like exactly the like dream athlete that every promoter wants. That's why he always did so well on Kasai. You know, he's doing great on UFC because they love him. They love his style. He's ready to go any point in time. He's the man, you know. And one didn't take advantage of that because of whatever reason. You know, they got stuff going on. And I'm not hating on one. Like I know you've had a great relationship with one, Mikey.
I'm
But
grateful
I'm
to
trying
one for my past, but yes, definitely. Every organization has their flaws, and there's certain things like this that could happen, right?
I'm just trying to like shed some light.
Was that a good political correct response? I said.
I think so. I think it's good. Yeah.
But you know what? It's true though. We got to be honest. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has their opinion about everything. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion because everybody's gonna have a different opinion on everything. I think a lot of people sit around. They sign a contract with one. They sit around for 8 months and they fight once a year. And
Yeah.
you guys have proven that you guys you're not sitting around. You're fighting 2 to 4 times in a year.
Well, you have to
Great.
remember one has multiple things on their card: MMA, Muay Thai, and kickboxing, right? So it's such a small.
Understandable.
Well, look how many matches Andrew had, right? He had a match with that Aaron Harris. He had Jason Nolf, Andy Varela, Elijah Dorsey,
He's had so many
um,
already.
Wagner Rocha. 5 matches. He's been signed less than a year. If you want to
Yeah.
compete,
Wow.
they'll give you matches. You know, one championship, you can't necessarily say that. So for me, it's kind of like this. All right, we can go fight one championship, but then now we're not allowed to fight in UFC. You know, because we're tied up in our one championship contract. We just saw Rod Tang got sued for breaching his contract, which was wild. I don't know if you guys looked into that at all. But Rod Tang, like, he completed his 2-year contracted bout, period, and then announced that he was a free agent. But they technically have like a 1-year negotiation clause in their contract where he's not allowed to sign with anyone or announce that he's signing with anyone within that year because they have that year to like negotiate with him, but he's not fighting in that year. So it's technically like a year that he just has to take off post contract, or he has to re-sign with them. So it's just like
Yeah.
shady, you know, like UFC
Rod
is
Tang's my
not
little
doing
brother,
that.
so he texts me every day, so I'm like aware of like what's happening with that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
and like, and UFC's not doing that. UFC's giving you matches. They'll sign you if you want to sign. If you don't want to sign, go compete for someone else. You know, like if you want to sign for them, they're going to build you into a star if you can win matches. You know.
I just think that
Yeah.
the biggest thing like that I've noticed being in all these organizations, who's number one UFC, is the jiu-jitsu community is so particular. Oh, I want this match. I want this match. But sometimes there's different segments of people involved in the entertainment aspect than just the jiu-jitsu community. So in one championship, for example, it was appealing to an Asian audience, right? And it was a whole different crowd. It was just Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA people, right? And then we would have one jiu-jitsu match once in a while. Sometimes in one, I would fight like 4 times in a year. So I had a great experience with that, but I know that that could be problemsome for some people. Again, I'm really grateful for my time at one, for how much they helped me, and I know Rutolo's had a great experience with them as well. So I'm grateful for them for that. So, but I know that a lot of people have problems there, and in other organizations as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
one doesn't have a jiu-jitsu roster. They have jiu-jitsu stars. That's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If
No,
you come
no,
in and you
I
lose,
the
you
idea
get
that
benched.
one.
If you win, you're a star.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like who's number one started this path of the belt and the divisions. They started it really well. And then
They
one
did.
took the idea to a bigger platform. So it was a better path. And then I think UFC took that idea to the max. Like it was my dream the second I went to one, what UFC is doing now. So that's why I fully was a part of the UFC program because I saw what they're trying to do. And that's why I believe in it so much.
Yeah, so that's just more like what I feel about like the fans say, hey, you know, we're not getting the matchups we want. And it's like, well, it's because everyone else is in the wrong organization. Like if everyone just switches over to UFC, there'll be all the matches that you want, you know? And
But at
like
the same time,
honestly,
I'm happy for the people making money in these other organizations. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say. Like,
absolutely.
I'm happy.
yeah.
Like that's why like I support them. Like I'm happy if Baby Shark's making money in one. I'm pissed that I don't get to fight him and that people will be mad at me. I'm not fighting him. But at the same time, I'm also happy he's making money and that's good for him. And I just want everyone in the jiu-jitsu community to make money. But I agree, long term, it will be better when we're all in one place. Just like I said before about the non-exclusive exclusive thing. Like how when everyone ends up in one place, that's when all the amazing matches can happen.
Yeah. And like for Rotolo's, I'm super happy for
Yeah.
Rotolo's, you know? Like I love the
Yeah.
Rotolo's. I'd love to have more matches with them. Andrew would love to have more matches with them. Like, but they're over there killing it at one. They're doing MMA. They're making a ton of money. Like, I'm stoked for them. And like, I
Yep,
would love for
exactly.
them to
That's what I
switch
mean.
over and us get matches. And I was even trying to hunt down a match on one championship with them at one point in time too. You know, like I would love to have matches with them, but like if they want to stay over there and keep making a ton of money and do whatever, I'm happy for them. They've made a killer career out of it. You know,
And you know what? And they've done a great job, the Rotolos out there, going into MMA too, right?
so good.
They're doing the MMA too, and they're making their money, you know, and
Hmm.
it's something that you see these kids. I've seen those kids compete since they were babies, you know, and it's great to see their success. I'm happy for them, and to each his own. But I think at the end of the day, they're all going to end up in UFC BJJ.
Long
That's
term,
just
yeah.
my opinion. I think
Hmm.
so. At some point, it's going to change. So let's wish everybody the best. They're making money, they're making a living, and that's the most important thing. But
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you both, what about MMA? Is that something that you guys are, interested in doing and maybe fighting at some point? William?
So I'll give my 2 cents on it. I think that like if I didn't have this UFC BJJ opportunity, I think it maybe be a little bit more enticing. Um,
Yeah,
being seeking the structure, right? Like
yeah,
compete signing with you like a Fury or like a Cage Warriors or something, right? Signing with them and having those bouts and competing under one organization and kind of building as a star in that one organization. That's enticing, But I now have that with jiu-jitsu. And like, if I wasn't able to maybe make a whole ton of money competing and build as big of a brand to then maybe. But like now I'm able to make some good money. I'm building a good brand. Like I have the ability to open up an academy later, at post competition. Like I don't feel the need to go over and get punched in the face.
Mikey, you want to get punched in the face?
I mean, CTE definitely sucks, but I I'm at a different phase in my career where like I don't know, I've just been called a butt scooter and like a wimp so long that I just want to like go out there and just scrap with someone, like. But so I might later in the year, like I've been working on having an MMA fight later in the year. I definitely
Oh,
have to keep
That's
learning
perfect.
more wrestling, and I'm learning basics of boxing right now. So I'm learning, and it's just fun for me that feeling of fear, like oh I might get hit in the face, like will I die? No, you know what I mean. So I'm excited to challenge myself one more time, and will I end up doing it? We'll see. Like I definitely want to have an MMA fight by the end of the year.
That's sick, dude.
Yes, you need to help me with takedowns. Cody Steele said he'll give me a few takedowns.
Yeah, I mean, I'll help you however I can, bro. Like I love MMA. Like I don't train a lot of MMA, but I have gone through like periods where I've trained like MMA kind of frequently. Like I like MMA. Like it's what got me into the sport of jiu-jitsu, Like I'm a huge fanatic for it. So like I'll help however I can, but like and it hats off to you for going in there, but I just don't want no part of actually doing it in a competition setting. Like for me, it's kind of like
I just
it's like the
want,
game thing,
I just,
It's like
I just love how everyone says I'll get murdered, right? Like so
no.
I'm a little toxic. So when people say, "Oh, you'll get murdered," you're a nerd. You can't do that. You can't take a punch.
what about soccer and MMA combined? I don't know if you guys been seeing those videos of that.
Wait,
Like
what?
they're playing soccer. Yeah. They've got this they've got helmets on and they've got
Punch
other
your
and they're doing MMA with soccer. It's crazy.
Wow,
You guys
that's
gotta
wild.
watch that.
You got to send me some videos.
Check this out right here. Look at this.
What?
Look
Oh,
at that.
that's crazy.
What's up what's I mean, look
Oh,
at
this
that.
is hilarious.
Imagine playing soccer and then
People
throwing
would love this
hands.
watching.
That's
What's
Watching
up,
wild.
everyone
William?
play soccer.
William,
That's
are we
something.
doing this or what? This a little
No,
bit
thank you.
safer?
No,
No,
I'm good.
that's horrible. What the?
There's no structure to
Oh
that.
man. Okay,
I
so then
mean,
what
I
about
like MMA, but competing in it, and the same with the gi. Like, I like the gi. It's just competing in it isn't as like doesn't entice me. Like competing in the gi is like really boring to me because guys try to hold and stuff. But training in the gi is a blast. I love training in the gi. Kind of
Yeah.
same with
yeah.
MMA. Like if I get dropped with a body shot, you're not gonna now kick me in the face, or like run up and start ground and pounding me with hammer fists. So like the training part's fun, but I don't think the competing part would be too fun for me.
Our game plan would be we would look for the best player and like we get like a few more people and you and me would just fall and go like outside heel hook on them, tear their ACL. We have one
Then
less
they're done.
player on the field. I think if we just keep removing their ACLs, like then
Yeah.
we'll be good. They're all on the floor.
We could both like one of us could target each one of his legs, so we could get like just
Right?
eliminate
Just
both
in
his
case
legs.
one
in
of their
go.
legs, they're still okay to play soccer.
Yeah.
That's insane. I saw that. I was like, what are people thinking? Like, what is going on here? I think I saw some people doing like jiu-jitsu inside a car.
I
Yeah,
seen
Some
so
that.
that
vehicle.
Yeah, that's really
cartoon too.
weird.
Yeah,
But,
that's
it also, but honestly, it looks gay as
it does look really gay. I would do it though. That I would do because
You,
like I mean
yeah, you do
like
that.
yeah, it's like choking someone with a seatbelt's kind of hilarious. Like actually, one of my buddies back home, Tyson Mendez, who helps run the Archetype Boxing Club back in Austin. Go check it out if
Yeah.
anyone's listening and wants to get some fun workouts in Austin. But we'll like wrestle on the boxing ring and stuff. And I've like baseball bat choked him with the boxing ropes. Like like if you're at like a tie clench or something, and you just grab the rope behind their neck, you could just baseball bat choke them with
what
the
the
ring.
hell?
So like you could do the
That's
same with a
awesome.
seatbelt. You know.
Oh,
That's crazy. Tie him up, right? Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Let's
this
check it
is
out right here.
hilarious.
Look at this. Like seriously.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, how do you
Yeah,
do a
I mean,
flying triangle in there? There's no flying triangles. How do you take his
retain
back?
your guard?
I just
How do
don't
I play
understand
guard?
why
How do
we
I
need
snap
this.
back?
Like,
So you
why
can
do we
use
need
the
this?
seatbelt in this.
Yeah, you can use
I'm
the seatbelt
curious
to choke.
if you can use your seatbelt.
Am I able
Holy
to
I've
grab
seen
their
people
hands?
choke.
Am I able to have a hip grip? Am I able to grab them like grips? Like, do I have a hip grip in this?
I don't understand any. Like, I don't even understand why that it exists. like, why do we need car jiu-jitsu?
William,
Right?
William, I was in the meeting when we were talking about. I was with Hunter and we were talking about how we can make the rule set the most exciting for grappling. And one thing I said, joking, you know what I mean? Because power slap is so violent. I was like, all right, what's the equivalent for jiu-jitsu? Two guys starting in an inside heel hook. Go.
Oh my God.
Whoever's knee breaks first is done.
That's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much, I know, right?
And then he was like, okay,
problem-
even for us, that's too extreme.
That's way too extreme.
That's insane.
You could maybe start.
Yeah.
Actually, I have like a YouTube video that like got some pretty good views. I was like having people start in fully locked subs in my gym, and I was like paying them $100 if they could submit me. And one started with a fully locked in rear naked choke, and I like almost went out, but I barely got out. Like that would kind of be hilarious. Starting with like fully locked in, just like chokes. You see a lot of
Yeah,
pass outs.
Yeah.
At least there wouldn't be
You're
like ligament breaks, you know?
You just go to sleep. It's not like your legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the KSI, changing subjects a little bit. Watching KSI going with Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, in that 1 minute. I mean, to survive with that, that was something different to watch, you know.
I didn't
I
see
didn't
this.
see
It's just-
I love Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is one of my favorite people. Like I've trained with him a bunch.
Oh,
Like I
Mighty
love
Mouse
that.
is shit. You know, and I like that he's starting to compete in the gi, man. It's nice to see him out
Well,
there.
he's literally just helping our sport grow. You know what I mean? Like he's just going out there, like paying money to go to these places and helping our sport grow.
Yeah, here you got
Demetrius-
KSI. He's got a minute. Let's see what he recovers. But it's all these influencers, you know. It'd be nice, Mikey. We're gonna have to get you to, fight an influencer.
Oh, I want
to
it so
see how
bad.
long they can last. This would be great. Look at that.
That's
Oh my
hilarious.
Just put his ass in his
William,
face. Like, what?
have you ever trained with Mighty Mouse, William?
I don't think I have. I've like shook his hand a few times, but I would love to
I don't
train
think
with
you were
him.
here. Yeah, you weren't here yet when he comes to Vegas. He comes frequently. Next time he's here, we'll all get a session in. You'll love him. He's so
Let's
cool.
do it. Yeah, he trained with Cody last time he was here, but I didn't get a chance to get around with him. So next time,
Yeah.
definitely invite him to be there.
Yeah. He's like one of my
He's a
favorite
great-
people.
He's
Yeah,
great
he's a nice
people.
guy. Great guy.
I don't know if you guys have been watching that Dirty Boxing or have
Yeah,
been.
so I hear about that all the time, Hector. What exactly is it? Like, I don't understand the rules.
Okay,
Like, what is it?
So it's a mixture, kind of like a little bit of MMA and a little bit of boxing. So you can get in the clinch and just hit people, or you can elbow. So if he goes down, you've got like 3 to 5
kicks?
seconds to do it like ground and pound. I'm
Is
sorry,
it only torso?
just no kicks. But if you knock him down, you could still be punching, or you can elbow. So you've got 3 to 5 seconds to work if he falls. It's a little bit. It's owned by John Jones and Mike Perry. I'm gonna pull it up right here. See, so you
That's
They're
kind
wearing
of like
MMA
the
gloves.
body combat rule set, how you can kind of go on the ground
yeah,
a
it's
little bit.
4-ounce gloves. 4-ounce gloves.
Oh, they
You
do
could do a little
takedowns.
bit. I don't think you could do
Do they go
takedowns,
into
but
like an ankle pick kind of?
But if he falls, like right there, look, you've got no.
Oh,
See,
he
he
might
tried to
not.
take him down, but he can't. But if he's down, you could still punch if he's down. You've got 3 to 5 seconds, like right here.
Wow.
He went out. That's dangerous.
Well, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
But
that
hey,
looks wild.
they're blowing up. They're doing big matchups. I've
Well,
seen.
I think like one thing that one championship did amazing. Like I'm like for one championship, I'm their biggest fan for Muay Thai and kickboxing. Like they're so exciting, the Muay Thai fights. Um, and I think what one did amazing was they changed the Muay Thai gloves from big gloves to MMA gloves. So the audience, like the fan base that are MMA fans, they watch and they feel like it's an MMA fight, right? But then it has the Muay Thai rules. And so I think it's so much more interesting, the tiny glove. Even now that I'm learning boxing, like I'm asking my coach, oh, when they throw a punch, I could just do this, right? He's like, no, you can't just do that because here there's a spot that you could get hit with the small glove. But with those big gloves, you could high guard. You could do all these things that protect you. With the little gloves, it's too small. Like you could get hit in all these different spots.
Yeah, the little bugs make it way more interesting. And even like Joe Pyfer, he don't even wrap his hands. He just tapes them.
I
I
know.
swear that. What the hell was that?
Yeah. So like a lot of people do that. Like we'll try to get away with it. Not every organization will allow it. Like every commission, but it's basically
Does it give you
bare
more
knuckle
power?
gloves. Yeah, because think about it, you have less padding.
Cushion.
Less padding, less padding.
So
So what
yeah,
you
so
can do,
you
and
get the
a
lighter
lot of
too, so you can
commissions,
kind of
a lot of commissions allow you to put a little bit of tape. You have to tape a little bit of your wrist and that's it.
Mm.
And then you don't have to get padding, but it's great. But yeah, no, it's all these different sports. It's crazy how they're all popping out everywhere.
I love it though. I
Um,
love that there's more financial opportunities for all these fighters. I think that that's what I'm happy about. That's why, again, like I want people to watch our podcast, especially from the jiu-jitsu community, and feel that we're neutral with everyone, right? Like we have our view because we're athletes that we're getting paid under UFC BJJ and we're grateful for them, but we're also happy for everyone else making money and having opportunities in other places. Like Craig
yeah,
Jones' event coming up with $1 million. I'm so happy for somebody to make that money. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We're rooting for all these people to make money and succeed. We're not against
yeah.
anyone.
Just because like I didn't make it onto one and like get a bunch of 50K bonuses doesn't mean I'm gonna hate on somebody that did, or like just because maybe I didn't have as frequent and successful a career with who's number one doesn't mean I'm hating on anybody that's like doing well with them and having success. Like for me it just wasn't a good fit and UFC BJJ was. If you have a good fit somewhere else, that's cool. But I don't think that means that UFC BJJ is doing it wrong. I think that they're doing it right, like where they could make it a good fit for pretty much anybody.
Yeah, and all we could tell them is our personal experience as competitors and athletes in these organizations, right? And how we felt and like why we love where we're at, right? And I think that that's such valuable information for upcoming competitors. You don't have to be mad at us for our opinion. It's just our opinion from what happened in our life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's good to have all these other organizations, it only helps everybody, and you get to see different talent and the up and coming talent, which is something that the next generation, they're gonna be like, oh man, I want to be like Mikey here. I want to be like the Tackett brothers. I want to be on that stage, and it's just gonna push them to train harder and build their brand, which is so important nowadays. Social media came in, and you need to build your brand, and we're happy that there's these platforms to be able to do that. And again, we just got to be grateful with all these organizations coming out,
True.
helping the next generation be financially stable and not have to deal with just going out there. Hey, here's $160. Let me sign up for this, and get nothing from it. And it's okay. There's a development stage where you build your name on those too. Totally fine. But at some point, you get to a certain age where, hey, I can't keep eating cup of noodles. I got to start, paying some rent, and I got to start doing this. It's important.
I think that the biggest thing, like, again, I think that I'm just full of gratitude for where I'm at in my life. I come from a small town in New Jersey. Like, jiu-jitsu was so small then in 2001 when I start. William, what year were you born?
2001.
Okay.
Baby.
Same year you
Baby.
started.
I was like 4 though, if that's fair. But I'm still
that's-
alive, 4 years old, training jiu-jitsu. But anyways, he was just born at that time. But yeah, I started in a small town in New Jersey. Jiu-jitsu was literally nothing then. Karate gyms dominated everywhere, right? And then I ended up on this crazy path that brought me from New Jersey to Florida to Vegas to Asia back to Vegas, and I don't know. It's just so weird. Like I was passionate about something, and like I'm a religious person with God, and I feel God put me on this path, right? And I'm so grateful to be on this path. And I feel like there was a reason I was stuck. I got stuck into the sport. I kept wanting to leave. I was like, screw this. I was gonna go to medical school. I was gonna go to law school. Like I had all these opportunities to do other careers, but every time I tried to leave, I got pulled back in deeper. And I feel like there was a reason for that, and I see it now. Like this was my purpose to be in this, to help grow this sport, to help us have this platform for the next generation.
Man,
Yeah,
you
and
guys are
I'm
doing a
right
great
there
job,
with
like
you.
I said.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. I'm right there with you. If like, I was raised by my parents to be a close believer and have a relationship with God and use whatever platform I have to try to make as best impact as possible. And I think that, like you said, you tried to go all these different routes and you kept getting pulled back because this is your purpose. This is what you're called to
Yeah.
do. And I feel like I have that sense of calling too. Like I'm called to do this. And I've had people throughout my life like try to convince me otherwise. Like, hey, do
Yeah.
this instead. Like this, is where you can maybe best have a better impact, or you can do better here. You can have a better impact here, and this and that. But like, I'm so thankful that I've stuck to the path because, like you said, when we first started, there was not much like to really
No.
focus on. But you only need the faith of the mustard seed, right? So like, I only needed a little bit to hold on to. But now we got like really big opportunities. I think could be a lot easier for people to kind of pursue that same path that we did because they have more opportunity now. We didn't have all those opportunities and we were able
Yeah.
to make it. I think that now with all these other opportunities, I think it's gonna be so much easier for the next generation. And that's what I'm so thankful for.
Yeah, and I think that we're getting rewarded in our life, William, because I feel like there's two types of ambition: human ambition, which is just chasing money and things like that, and then more like godly ambition, which is more like passion and trying to help others around us. So with UFC BJJ, that's why I get really upset when someone says that I'm a sellout and these things, because I'm actually doing the opposite. I'm making a platform that help other people. I want people to start jiu-jitsu. I already won enough titles in my life that I'm fine. You know what I mean? I could literally stop competing. So for me, I more enjoy now getting people to start jiu-jitsu, getting people to have a better platform for their future generation, the next generation, you young kids now, right? So these things are what give me fulfillment, and I feel like that's kind of where I'm at in my life. And I feel like we got rewarded, though, when we didn't have money, when we didn't have any of these things, we stayed strong and we stuck to it. And
Yeah.
we now get to reap those benefits. So, yeah, we will make money, and we are in the best opportunity to make money. So don't be mad at us for this, but our intentions weren't about making money. Our intentions were our passion for jiu-jitsu because we really do love jiu-jitsu. And that's what
And
kept
we
us
stuck
on
in
this
it when we
path.
weren't making money.
Yeah, yeah. But like we just had this passion always for jiu-jitsu. That was our love, right?
100%.
I
Yeah,
agree.
couldn't have said it better.
Even the best people I've talked to, they don't even love jiu-jitsu. They really don't like jiu-jitsu, but they're just talented at it. I think that's one reason why I click so well with you, William, is because you're such a passionate person about jiu-jitsu. Like you really love it. So I think that passion is what fuels us. And then indirect results of having the passion of like a good passion is things like money, all these amazing opportunities that happen, right? But I think if we would have just focused on money, then we would have cut ourselves short and we would have never had these opportunities. I going to medical school, I would have in my mind been like, okay, I have a safe career. I would make money doing this. Or law school, I have a safe career. I'll make money doing this. I don't have to worry about when I'm going to compete. What if I tear my ACL in training today? Like that. You know how much anxiety that gives you, Hector, when you're training and like you need to compete to make money. And I could just instantly tear my ACL one round of training.
And it's over.
So
Then
that
you're out for like
anxiety,
8 months.
but we got through that time. We got to this platform, and it's such an amazing thing. And I feel like we're in the perfect spot for our sport. And there's a lot of negativity, a lot of people complaining. But actually being one of the competitors in this that has been through all of this, like if you see it from our perspective, you will appreciate and understand what we've been through.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely,
we're in the
absolutely.
best place that we could be right now. Like this is the best time for jiu-jitsu. It's the most exciting time. Like you said, people have been talking about like the old time when everyone was free agents and everyone just kind of fought everybody. It was like, yeah, but that didn't really occur. The best guys didn't fight the best guys all the time. Like we
And they
only
made
saw
no
Roger
money.
Judge twice.
I heard that they used to get a gi, like winning Black Belt gi worlds, Hector. They would give you $100 gi win bonus from your sponsor, or they would give you an extra free gi winning Black Belt worlds.
Or pay for your registration on the next tournament, right?
Dude, I would get
Wow.
like maybe 100 followers winning Black Belt Worlds. Now I gain 100,000 followers every match. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's no
Oh,
question about the amount of influence that UFC has over this with getting more audience watching us.
it's a
And then we can
biggest
get
platform.
endorsements and MMA endorsements. Now we have that whole different fan base than the jiu-jitsu community, which is rapidly growing, but it's still significantly smaller than the whole world. Like, there's such a bigger segment of people that we're reaching now, you know?
Yeah, and let's be honest, right now, besides Mikey and a couple other guys, who's getting sponsored by big companies and who's number one?
It's
Or
just
it's
no,
really hard.
because the reach of UFC, that's honestly one of the biggest selling points for me as a competitor. That I could get so many more sponsors being a UFC athlete, you know, like the exposure we get, like they see us as MMA fighters. They don't see us as jiu-jitsu athletes, and because they don't know what these jiu-jitsu tournaments are. Hey, I won IBJJF Worlds. You think a major company is gonna know what like they're gonna be like, what is that?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if Gordon was in your same situation and was as dominant as he was under UFC. Imagine how many sponsors he had. What
No,
was his biggest sponsor
absolutely.
he had? He didn't.
I don't
Yeah.
It
even
was
know.
BJJ Fanatics. He
He
had
did
to
it.
work for every dollar he's got. He had to make his own
Yeah.
instructionals. He had to brand them. He had to even call out the match, the submissions that he was going to get in the match to brand his instructionals. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't making money on big sponsors. Like I'm sure he made money. Like obviously he's the best, but
But
like
this is a
he's
new
not getting
generation of
Monster
actually
Energy
making
Room
money with
deal.
sponsors. Like that's what it is.
Ketones IQ. He's not getting like all these other
Yeah.
like these other big companies that are actually going to pay. Um,
Yeah.
it's just different now, dude. It's different. The marketing
Yeah, I'm
machine of the
constantly
UFC.
getting six-figure sponsors now that will pay me money. Like it's insane, you know. Like so, I feel like that this is a new generation, and we're at the front of it. You know, I do think that Gordon did a great job in his generation growing the sport and getting more financial opportunities, and that's why I respect Gordon in that aspect. But I think it's on us now to take what he started and make it better and grow our sport even more.
Yeah, and you just
100%.
just remember this, guys. As an athlete, you got to build your brand. You're the brand. You got to get out there and build more. So you again, the more followers, like Mikey, right? You got 1.5 million, right? But how long, you worked your ass off to get all those
That was a
followers,
freaking
and
hell to do.
doing different shit. Like
So
it's
toxic
important to
too.
build your brand,
It's so toxic getting those followers.
but it's okay, But you need that attention. This is what I tell people.
The thing I've noticed though with followers, William, you'll see this as you keep growing more and more since you're so young. First, it's all love. The initial followers you get is all
Oh
love.
yeah,
Then as you go up there, it just becomes hate. Like the more it's balanced. It gets a balance, but like you're basically at, like imagine like you have a party with like 10 people, right? It's all your good friends, it's all amazing vibes. It's like, oh, we're gonna bring 100 people to this party. It's just all fucking haters that just hate you. But now they're in the room there. Like it's kind of like that. More people, more hate. But it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think like it gets like their comment gets lost, right? Like if you have 100,000 comments, there's more room for negative comments because they kind of fly under the radar, right? Whereas it's like
Yeah.
if you're only having 10 comments, like someone's less likely to comment something really toxic because they're
Yeah.
probably going to it's going to be
It'll be all good
seen
vibes.
for one, but it's also going to be
right.
highlighted. Someone's going to reply to them and like defend you and this and that. But like if you got 1.5 million followers, like it's easier for like these haters to fly under the radar and just kind of comment and like the
Mhm.
comment almost go unnoticed because they feel like they don't have any repercussion for their actions, right? So I
Yeah.
think that that's kind of like where what you're talking about is like you have all these followers and the hate kind of gets even bigger with the
See,
fan base, like the
that's
percentage of
what I'm
hate.
learning in this realm. It just becomes that, right? And it took me a long time to understand that because I love everyone. I like kind of I want everyone's approval, like kind of, I have like that mentality, like I want to be friends with everyone. I don't want anyone to be upset with me. So then I used to message them like, "What did I do wrong? Please, I'm sorry. Like, I'm cool. Like, we would be friends in real life. Like, why do you have to hate me online?" But then as I got older, I started learning more and more like how people are and how this is just growing our sport more. Any interaction, negative or positive, and
Yep.
that just them interacting is all we need, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like once I understood that concept, it changed my perspective, but also the perspective of the miserable people that talk shit. I kind of feel bad for them because the type of person I am, I would never be commenting, talking shit about other people. So they must be pretty miserable in their life to be doing that to somebody, you know, like going personally on somebody's page to talk shit. Like, so I almost feel bad for them, you know, but I also know that they're just human. They're just looking for dopamine. That's how humans are. And I surprisingly flip a lot of people that hate me. You know, a lot of times people hate me, and then over time they flip. You know, so that's something I've learned from this as well. That it's not like a permanent thing. If somebody hates you, like you could just talk to them, and instantly they might flip and they like you. Like it's just feelings and emotions at the moment. Like imagine you go up to someone, fuck you, and then 5 seconds later, you're like really nice. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I can't stand it. Social media, there's a lot of toxicity behind it.
I can't stand it either, and I wish I didn't have to go on Instagram at all. I wish I had I wish that I didn't, but it's a part of my career at this point, you know, and I just have to take the toxicity. Um, and I just pray a lot, listen to a lot of religious music to like counter the energy.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I just
great.
go on
Yeah,
my phone,
honestly,
I open my Instagram, and then instantly hate, hate, hate. I'm like,
yeah.
fuck.
Hey, wait on this podcast. Wait when this podcast starts. They start posting on. We start posting all this. How much hate we're gonna get?
Wait,
Oh,
how
yeah,
much
of
did
course.
how many times did I interrupt you guys on this podcast? Was I okay? Like with my ADHD, was I like normal or pretty bad?
No, you did good, bro.
You were
You're doing
good,
great.
Bob. You were
For me,
good.
that was
You were
good,
good.
right? I'll get better
Hey,
over
Yes,
you
sir.
did.
time. I'm gonna get better at this, but I'm trying not to interrupt. Yeah, I'm working on it. Like we all have things to work on. Like I'm from the East Coast, New Jersey, New York, Brooklyn, and in my house, my parents, all of us, we never could finish a sentence. We're all just screaming over each other. So that doesn't translate well to real life.
But no, you're doing great,
You're
bro.
great.
If I know you mentioned that getting an idea of my like mindset a little bit. Like if there's anything I could maybe like share that might help with that. You're saying how you like want to people please and like
Yeah.
you want everyone to be your friend. Like and that's great, and I love that about you, Mikey. Like that's one of your best attributes is you're a super friendly guy. You're super nice. But you also got to remember that, like, especially saying, speaking you're a religious guy, like, there's also just good and evil people. Like, there's also just people that, like,
Yeah.
you don't need their approval. Like, they're just not good people. Like, as maybe a Christian, I'm not sure exactly where you're at with all that, but, like,
Yeah.
your goal is to maybe try to see the good in everybody and try to bring that good out
Yeah.
of them. But, like, you don't need their approval, Like, not everyone's a
And our
good
light
person.
pisses them off
You have
more.
to be okay with that, too.
And honestly, when I'm nice to people that hate me, they actually hate me more when I'm nice to them. It's like they even get
Yeah.
more pissed that I'm being nice to them.
Yeah, because I don't know, because like you said, they're just miserable. So you gotta let that go. Like stay out of the comment sections when you can, and when and when you do get that hate, you just gotta understand that not everyone's having the best day, and some people are just genuinely not good people. And that's just
I
how
think
the
it's
world
funny you're
is.
saying that, William, because one of my favorite quotes from Joe Rogan when I hung out with Joe Rogan, I was like, "Oh, I love dogs. Dogs are the best." He's like, "There's some evil dogs too."
There are,
So
bro.
like
There's some evil dogs too.
there
That's a great
there is good and evil. Like
comparison.
there's
Yeah.
some people that are just we can't change.
No, you can't. And like my dad's grown up with dogs that like my dad's a great dog owner, like has had great dogs over the years. But they've had dogs that they literally just have to either give to a junkyard for like a guard dog or put down because it's like literally not capable of being a good dog. Like you touch it wrong and it lights up your hand. So like there's just people like that too. And that doesn't mean that all people are bad. Just like not all dogs are bad.
Yeah.
But you have a little bit of a front up too, right? To where you can kind of okay, is this person good? Okay, well, I can let them move a little closer, after you get to know them. But you can't just be like hugging, everybody because some people are coming for your neck.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. No, but you know what? This was a great first
Oh, it's so
podcast.
much fun.
It was so
Thanks
much
for having me
fun.
on.
I forgot I was on the
William,
podcast.
thank you. Thank you for coming on. We'll get your brother on there, maybe both of you guys at the same
That'd
time.
be so much fun.
And man, good luck on your matches.
Thank
you guys
you.
got some fights coming up, and let's get that title back, Mikey.
Yeah, guys, we had an amazing first podcast. Please tune in for our next one, and thank you so much, William, for joining us. We were honored to have you as our first episode.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you so much for hitting me up. Literally being your first guest is a huge honor.
No,
So
thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time and talking to us. And yeah, this is a great first episode, guys. Please tune in. I know you guys are gonna love this episode. And yeah, on to the next one. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah.